How are you?
I am doing well, I think.
Good to see you, like always.
Good to see you too. I saw you yesterday.
2 days in a row. Fabulous. Who is this gentleman? Mr. White.
Page
So, new case.
33 and 34.
All right. Good morning, Mr. White.
Sir.
Sir, you stand charged with two offenses. You're charged with driving while intoxicated. Second offense, you're also charged with failure to stop and give information. On the DWI, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. On your other case, you're facing up to 6 months in jail. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 1st, 2025, officers were dispatched to a major crash at the intersection of Westheimer and Synod Street. Officer made contact with the complainant. The complainant stated she was driving and she was at the intersection when the light was green. She proceeded through the intersection, saw the defendant's vehicle run a red light at a high rate of speed, and the defendant's vehicle was struck by the complainant. The damage to the complainant's vehicle was approximately $9,000. The complainant stated she was never contacted by the defendant to exchange information. The officer made contact with the defendant and observed glossy eyes, slurred speech, a moderate odor of an alcoholic beverage, and unsteady balance. The officer also observed swaying and disorientation. The defendant stated he was driving his motor vehicle when the other motor vehicle struck his, that he was the sole occupant of his vehicle, and that he was driving the damaged motor vehicle that the officers observed on scene. The defendant admitted to consuming alcoholic beverages prior to operating his motor vehicle, that he was coming from a steakhouse and was on his way to his friend's home to sleep, that he had drank 3 bottles of beer at a gas station across the street from the scene, and that the defendant stated he did not consume illegal drugs that night. He also stated he was unsure of which street he was on and rated his intoxication as a 5 from a scale of 1 to 10. The defendant stated he parked his motor vehicle, was going to walk to an apartment complex where the officer stopped him to tell his friends to call the police, and that he could have called the police given that the officers observed the defendant's phone on him. Center field sobriety tests were administered, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 4 out of 8, 1 leg stand 3 out of 4. The defendant was read the DIC and refused. A blood search warrant was signed and executed.
Did you want to say something?
Judge, I'm not sure about the court, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about leaving the scene. It sounds like
I didn't hear
I
anything.
didn't hear anything on piece.
You didn't say anything about the FSGI.
So on the FSGI, the complainant stated she was never contacted to exchange information. And then also, furthermore, I can read from the complainant.
He stayed there, right?
No, Your Honor. So allow me to read from the full.
You got to leave.
So he was found at a gas complex, apartment complex where he was stopped, and that's where he made contact with the officers. And the full DIMS I can elucidate
Okay,
that.
so he wasn't
at the
scene of the accident.
No, Your Honor. He was later found at an apartment complex. That's where he was stopped, and he told the officers that he could have called police because they observed the phone on him.
Did you say how far?
Let me see the DMs if I can see.
And Judge, he's bonded up both cases. I mean, there's plenty of room for us to negotiate and work with the state on this. I mean, it may very well be.
I just want to make sure that, if he's charged with an offense, there's enough probable cause. And,
From DIMS is about 5 pages long.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. They say the distance, just that they made contact with him at the apartment.
where? At the apartment or?
An apartment complex where they stopped him. That was not the scene, and that's where they found him, and they saw him with his phone on him, and that's where they made contact and asked him if he could have called police. And he said he could have, and that he was walking to that apartment to get his friend to call the police.
And Judge, we have both locations of where the crash occurred and where he was found. If you could give me a moment, I can get the exact distance.
If that's the case,
I have a lot of problems here.
I have an identification question then, if that's the. Both cases.
He goes to the gas station, he's drinking at the gas station,
Yes, Judge, and because he did state he drank at the gas station across from the scene, and then.
Do we know if he started drinking after the accident, before the accident? Did the officer ask?
Well, he did state that he drank prior to the accident because he was at a steakhouse, is what he said.
Right. You have no distance on as far as where he was from you.
Locations, and we can find the distance. If you just give us a moment, we can see how far the two locations are.
Well, I am going to go forward with your, I'm going to find that there's enough probable cause to go forward on the driving while intoxicated. Have you run his license, see if he has a valid Texas driver license?
Yes, Judge, his license is eligible.
Okay, I'm now placing a restriction on your license, Mr. White. You are not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock, I'm going to revoke your bond. I will put you in jail. I am ordering you also as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If we find that you're consuming alcohol or any illegal drugs, likewise, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, you have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance so you don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Mr. DeLeaf and he'll tell you when you have to come back to court. If Peter tells me that he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, then I will again issue a warrant for your arrest.
Your Honor, so it's 0.3 miles, and furthermore, upon reading the OR, there were bystanders on the scene that told the officers that they identified him as walking towards the apartment complex and failing to give information from the crash. So we have 0.3 miles, and a bystander saw him walking from the scene of the crash towards the apartment complex.
I'm going to find probable cause for now.
Okay,
Peter,
for now.
if you find something that's different later on, come
Okay,
back. We
perfect.
can always talk.
Yes, sir.
You are also not allowed to drive unless you have liability insurance in your name on whatever car you're driving. We are sending notice now to DPS that you're required to have an interlock. So every officer in this state is going to know if you're caught driving a vehicle and it doesn't have an interlock, they're going to take you to jail. Do you understand? Okay, so I'll have you sign reset with Victoria. We'll have you get with Fleischer for your bond conditions, and after that, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care. Miss Miranda, do you just want to reset?
Yes,
you go.
Your Honor. I believe we're just,
Hold on a second. Do you mind hitting the soundbar button, please? Turn it on. Thank you so much. My soundbar's off. Bear with me a moment. Okay,
yes, Your Honor. I believe we're waiting on discovery. I reached out a couple of times to the state.
it's not. That's weird, huh? One more time.
Can you hear me?
Nope. Hey, she's here on Gaitan.
Okay.
Yeah. Gaitan.
Okay.
Is discovery complete?
One moment, I'm loading it. Okay. Discovery is complete, Your Honor.
Do you have the blood?
This one, it was a breath case.
No, I can't hear. It's weird we can't hear you. Let me call IT.
Let me see. It's showing that it's picking up the sound.
You want to say something, please, or sing? There we
Hello?
go.
Can
Yay.
you hear me? Oh, okay. I was gonna say it was picking up my sound or showing that.
Maybe if you sing to us, you know?
Okay, so I do show that I have police.
He's totally fine with the scram. He understands and he says
Okay.
he has to work, so scram's fine.
So any alcohol, I'm taking his privilege to drive away. Let him know.
I told him that
I don't care what it is. Let him know. Would you mind having him come up? Mr. White, come up.
is he gonna need to pay for the scram, Judge?
Sorry? No, I never make anyone pay for it. I want you to understand that as soon as you get your car back, you must have the interlock on your own car. Do you know, I guess so we need to figure out and have a date when you're going to get your car back, because I can't imagine you're going to be in a rental car forever because they're stupid expensive. Is that the day? Okay, so let's do what we're going to do. So I'm putting a monitor on your ankle so I know that you're not consuming alcohol. This thing is extremely finicky. So be very careful what you put in your body. And I don't care what your excuse is. If I find that you're consuming, you have any alcohol on board, I'm taking your privilege to drive away from you. Do you understand? That includes mouthwash, tequila, lollipops, hair dye. I've heard so many excuses. I don't care. Just you are old enough to know what to put in your body. If you don't, for example, like an energy drink, if you don't know, then don't use. That's the bottom line. Do you understand? Okay. All right. So we'll put it on. I'm going to waive the fee for you. I guess February 13th or one of those days after. Let's do the reset for that day so you can come back in and we can switch it. In fact,
I think that's the day we did the reset.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Whatever day. Yeah.
Judge,
Okay.
so for the IID, for time after that, whenever he does get the IID, do you want to have the scram removed then as well?
Yeah. Proof of the interlock installation first, and then we remove the screen.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah.
And then also for that, did you want the no driving or we're still?
No, because he's driving a rental. That's why we're putting on the scram. I don't think you can put it on the rental. Okay,
Thank you, Judge.
please.
Did you change the reset date? February,
What day did you put?
March 13th,
Yeah, we need to do it for February,
February?
like
13th?
whatever day that they're going to choose. Doesn't matter to me.